Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. We are here, and look, the screen is incredibly busy because we left it at an exciting point. And it's super busy today because there's more of us. In fact, it's starting to feel more and more like we are the Red Army. I think we've nearly got as many people as they had in their forces tonight. But good evening to you, Imp, especially, and welcome, dear viewers, to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. If you've not been here before, we're a role-playing channel first and foremost, and on Friday and Saturday we roleplay. Friday is normally Traveller, which is our ongoing science fiction game, and Saturday's a whole range of other games, and we get some of our friends of the channel in, like we have tonight. But February's slightly different because every single Saturday this month we are playing Night Witches. We thought it'd be a really good idea to sort of get a rhythm going, give the chance for people to drop in and out a little bit, and just continue this amazing story together in this great game. There it is by Jason Morningstar. Look at that, lovely, lovely, easy. It feels nice, even feels nice. It's a nice texture. If it's your first time, you're very, very welcome, of course. If it's not your first time, you're very, very welcome. But we will run, I don't know, 2.5 hours, maybe something like that tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll have a break in the middle, and please feel free to stay for as long or short as you want. Drop in and out as you see fit. If you want to chat, please feel free to chat. We try to keep chat a friendly place. Regulars tend to chat, and any of us in our column of love, the love column, that just sounds wrong. If we're not busy at any one point, you might find that we're joining in the chat as well, and sometimes chat rolls over into the game itself. So don't be afraid to say things about the game or just chat amongst yourselves. Anything is good. There is a red sun there which you can click, which is normally mostly used for Traveller or a more light-hearted game. So a lot of options have been removed, the more silly ones. But there's still a few things that are worthwhile for this game. You can just fist bump people when they're in here because it's just quite nice to fist bump people. Or you can make me toast one of you. Here's to you. I'm keeping Clonk in this week. If you hit Clonk, you can choose a character who immediately has to punch, hit, kick someone or something. It's up to them, but that's part of the game now. You can make someone regale us with a tale, which gives a bit more depth to their character. You can give them a boon if you want. Have a flick through, see what you want. There's not too much in there tonight. Thank you very much, Ben. What an interesting piece of information. It's going to be one of those nights. He's going to be showing off. I can see it already. But anyway, let's get started with an introduction of everyone, and then we'll get the game going. So my name is Luke. Hello, I'm in the bottom right-hand corner, and I am GMing this game as it stands, which is, we've learned quite often, like herding cats. But I'll do my best and let them run wild. The good thing is I also get to play like a secret police. So if they do annoy me too much, I can just drag them off to a gulag somewhere, and then we don't have to worry about them anymore.
I won't be the first.
I already know who's going to be the first, and it ain't going to be you. Isn't that right, Kelly? Right, let's start at the top of
Hey, I was their little friend, so
you were. They grew to like you a little bit more after that. Right, starting from the top and working our way down. At the very, very top is my brother from another mother. He is, of course, the housewife's favourite. He's come prepared, like a mix between Biggles and Tank Girl. It is the lovely Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, Luke. I don't know. I'm full of regret and remorse from last night's in-game action. But like any healthy human being, I'm suppressing it, and I'm gonna vent it all out tomorrow after tonight's joyous game.
If I've learned anything from being an adult, it's all about repressing your emotions. It's definitely the
absolutely right.
Who do you play in this adventure? Yeah.
I play the somewhat nervous in their current situation, Vera Volkovia, from Leningrad. The only person in her family with that surname due to a weird clerical error at some point when the birth was registered. And she's excited. She's excited to join the 588th.
Oh, wonderful. She started well, I think. She even managed to get some extra food for her crewmates when they're kept late in class, like naughty school kids. You made yourself a little hero that day, and I feel like the powers that be have taken to you a little bit. So you're doing all right so far, Vera. You're doing okay. Moving on down, one down from there is the smartest man in any room who lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence. If you love his beard and his unkempt hair, this is your last chance for a few weeks because he's shaving next weekend. It is the wonderful, the irrepressible Ben. Good evening to you, Ben, and how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yes, very well.
Good. I'm not going to bother asking how your week was because I saw you last night. But as a man who knows a lot about history, being a history nerd, are you enjoying being back in history for this game?
I am actually. I've come to the conclusion that historical role playing is one of the things that gets my motor running. If you know what I mean. I think it's enormous fun that you can tie in stuff to real events.
That is true. It's no fishwives during the attempted blowing up of Parliament, but you're doing a good job anyway.
I don't know what you're referencing. You're just talking nonsense.
That must be some fever dream you had.
That's the only explanation for what went down that night. Who are you playing in this adventure of ours?
I play Maria Kachushina, a woman from Smolensk who is avenging her brother and determined to defend her comrades with every power that she has.
She's certainly stepping up to that. She stepped up to some men last week, if I remember correctly, as well.
Yeah.
You weren't taking it lying down.
Yeah, she doesn't. I get the feeling that as a youngster, she spent too much time hiding her light under a bushel in order to be, appropriately subservient. And now that she's got the chance to grab things with both fists, she's decided to put that to one side and start to show what she can do.
And she's already stepping up. Big fan already. Next one down, and I'm really hoping that tonight that green screen is suddenly going to flick to scenes of a cockpit and the air blowing behind at some point. But it is of course the time is different. The time is different. See, it's 5 hours back, so she is living in the past anyway. Quite frankly, so she's the closest to this period of history.
Wow, reaching. That's really stretching.
She was questionably the MVP of last week. Can she carry on?
Questionably. Lots of questions.
It's Kelly. Good evening, Kelly. How are you?
Good evening. Thank you for having me back.
It's a pleasure. I tried not to, but I was outvoted by the other two.
Yeah, I was almost hauled off by somebody, so gulagging and all that. Is that the right term?
Gulagging, something like that, I think. You're clinging on by the skin of your teeth. How are you doing anyway? How's life treating you?
Doing good. I'm fighting with a bit of a cold, so my voice might crack a couple of times. But other than that, I am hale and hearty and ready to drop some bombs on stuff and learn how to kick bollocks.
That is true. That was one of the main goals. Socks, you missed that last week, I think.
Yeah.
That's what they need to train to do.
I didn't catch the kick bollocks bit in
the. It was definitely there. So, which of these characters of yours is going to become a specialist in kicking men between the legs?
Junior Lieutenant Senya Voronin. She's from Chelyabinsk and have followed her grandmother's advice to make like the birds and take to her flying flights of fancy. So she found herself over here, found a few friends, found at least one enemy, and it should be a fun evening.
You say that. What I've got written down doesn't make for a fun evening. But it'll be interesting.
Oh, Luke.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an open book. You make your own destinies. And last but not least, we have a latecomer, and we're only going to introduce her as her real life counterpart first, because she'll be
Mhm.
introducing her character shortly in the game. But you may recognise her voice from other games such as Orbital Blues, where she's just a horny, sexy beast.
I mean,
Yes,
I'm a cat thief.
and a cat thief, or the November the 5th, where she was just a horny fishwife,
No, that wasn't me.
or and many others aside. She's of course
Hello.
our lovely Socks. How are you doing, Socks?
Oh, good. It's lovely to be back. I'm sorry I missed last week, but I'm very, very excited to be here with you guys today.
It's a pleasure to have you in. It's quite exciting in a way. Latecomers are always exciting. You know, like when someone joins school in year 8, and it's a bit weird to start with, but then it's kind of like cool. It brings a whole new energy to the classroom.
I mean, I've got to be completely honest. Not that I don't love you three very much, but I'm most excited to be playing a game with Kelly, because that happens so rarely, and I love Kelly to pieces. So this is very exciting.
Wow, if that's the order you're putting the people you like, that's going to be. I'm making a note of it now.
To be honest, after last time, I'm a bit scared of Ewan. I'm not going to lie. He'll do anything.
Anyone that was in last night will be scared of Ewan. That's definitely something we learnt.
I have to go watch that.
You should. It was quite exciting. What's the scene in Anchorman that escalated quickly? It's very much one of those. Anyway, as with last week, Imp, especially as you are interacting, could you just let me know if I'm too loud or too quiet, or they're too loud or too quiet, or if bits of music are too loud or too quiet? If you could let me know, that would be absolutely fantastic, as all I can see is green and yellow bars flashing around at the bottom. So, we're playing Night Witches, which is set during World War II, and our heroes are all members of the Soviet 588th Night Bomber Regiments, an all-female bomber regiment under Major Bershenskaya. Last week they trained, and time played tricks with us. They sort of flashed forward a week or two. We sort of dipped in and out at times, and we learnt more about their characters. So if you are interested after this, it's worth going back to find out a bit more about them and how they interact with things. But we left it after a week of monotonous classroom instruction under the tutelage of Captain Barskova and Senior Lieutenant Petrova. And they were formed into a 3-aircraft section as part of the training squadron. Each section has 3 pilots and 3 navigators. Now, as our crewmates all lined up, being put into their sections, Senior Lieutenant Petrova suddenly beckoned a new figure over, one that none of them recognised before. Looking a bit awkward and shy, perhaps, at a new group, the new recruit walked forwards. Now, if you remember, the crew had been warned that someone was late and that there was something that they needed to take care of beforehand. And the murmuring and sort of the whispers suggested that people thought this might actually be her. And so, as she stepped up next to Petrova, she was asked to introduce herself.
Is that me? That's me.
That is you.
That's me.
Good start, Sergeant.
Thanks. She salutes, looks around quite anxiously, and she presents herself as a very tidy, quite small, tawny-haired, a little bit fidgety. Her eyes are darting about. She doesn't seem comfortable or particularly collected. But she does seem extraordinarily well presented. There's not a hair out of place. Her uniform is complete. Given the shortage of good quality uniforms, it's almost astonishing how well turned out she is. Yeah, and she starts to attention, salutes very tidily, and quite simply says, Sergeant Polinska, Polinka, reporting for duty.
Thank you, Sergeant. No need to be nervous. You're only just about to go up in the air and risk your lives for a training mission. I'm sure you'll catch up quickly. Have you flown before?
I have, and it was not. It. I will serve Mother Russia.
Very good, very good. Perhaps it might be an idea to ensure you're not in the hot seat of the craft, perhaps, for the first flight. Maybe let someone with a bit more experience lead the way. But you will learn quickly. Everyone always learns quickly. There's no real choice. You learn quickly or you don't last long.
Sorry, I just nods. Eyes everybody very anxiously, is desperately hoping not to be in the spotlight any longer.
Sergeant, before you join the line, what city are you from?
Reporting from Dubna, Commander. I live with my grandfather. My parents are already part of the war effort, and they took my brothers and went to Moscow to. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't told what they were doing, but my grandfather said I should make myself useful, good at fixing things, and so I came here to fix things.
Very good. Fall in. You'll find there's plenty to fix here. You will not be out of work, that's for sure. Our mechanics work 24 hours a day, fixing all the craft that you lot damage and break and bend and scratch and scrape. The parts are all secondhand anyway, so secondhand at best. And these craft themselves are older than any of you. But they'll be very pleased for your help. If you're willing to give up your sleep and your rest and a meal or two, you'll get on very well with them. And the rest of the squadron will be very pleased to have you around.
Thank you, Commander. She eyes the airplanes, and there's a genuine passion for the machine. She clearly loves the airplanes. She just doesn't particularly want to be in them. But you can see that there's a genuine love for these craft that she's going to be working on.
Splendid, splendid. Now, the rest of you have been training, of course, over the last week or so, and getting an idea of whether you're more a pilot or a navigator. So let's work right down the line and see where you feel most comfortable. Training is a place where we develop, and we hope that by the time you make it to the front lines, that you'll be able to do either to a certain level, but it's by the very nature of personal abilities. Some will be more proficient at one than the other. The navigator, they're tasked with wayfinding. Their job will be to ensure that the craft will make it to the right point. Now, as I mentioned before, when you first joined, we don't have radios, so such things will be done with hand signals, maybe a flare, local walkie-talkies perhaps if you're lucky. And so the wayfinder is a great skill. It's a great skill, and only the best navigator in your section will wayfind for any mission. Of course, the pilots, also very important, they will lead the bombing run. The best pilot, the pilot chosen to be the leader, will lead the bombing run, while the others will... You know how I've brought up about being family and sisters together? The job of others is very much to protect each other and be willing to take a shot, be willing to get in the way of harm between the woman looking to really sock it to the Nazis. So, you, Volkovia, having discovered yourself over the last week or so, where would you say you're best served? Behind the stick or looking out at the ground?
A pilot, comrade.
Pilot, very good. I'm not at all surprised. You seem to have shown a certain skill And Katseva did suggest to me last night that she expected that that's what you would say. Very good, very good. How about you, Junior Lieutenant Katsushina?
I think my natural ability to spot a Nazi from a long way away means a navigator is clearly the way to go for me.
They're easy to see. You can smell them for a start, even from 1,000 foot in the air. Yes, excellent. Good, good, good. How about you, Voronin? Where do you see yourself?
Mm, well, my grandmother said that I should take wings, so I'd like to try to be a pilot, sir.
Very good, very good. See, you've spoken a bit about your grandma. She seemed like a very wise woman, a good Soviet woman.
Yes. Some of the stories about her may be a little tall, but yes, she always had the best stories and had a way of getting right to the point and figuring things out. I guess, as she liked to put it, she didn't let all the bullshit get in the way.
Yes, he'd have been very good in the military. How about you, Palinka? Where do you see yourself?
Navigator, Commander, please.
Probably for the best for the rest of your section, if they all wanted to get back in time for breakfast.
I've studied all the maps. I know all of the rivers. I can follow them in the dark, and I know where the towns are, and I know where their lights shouldn't be. I think I could navigate well. I think.
Very good, very good. Okay, and of course, you can't really fly a plane yet.
Yes, Commander. No, I can't. I mean, no, I can't. No.
Okay, excellent, excellent. She continues working down the line. The other two that are in your section, of course, are Zubova and Osina, as you can see. Zubova, who I think it's fair to say you've taken to somewhat. She seems like you can get along with her. And the last week together, she's shown there's a bit of edge to her. While she, like the rest of you, while she very much is on the side of the motherland, she's willing to bend a few truths and cut a few corners to get it done. You know, for the good of her sisters and for the good of the regiment as well. Whereas Osina, of course, has been someone who you've learned over the last week to avoid where possible. While her heart's in the right place for winning the war, and in some ways she can be quite funny, she's quite intelligent. You can never truly be yourself around her because you know, indeed, Voronin knows firsthand that she would not be slow to tell the secret police of any of your misdemeanors.
She's a snitch.
She certainly is. So, Petrova smiles as you've all agreed, and she looks down the line.
What did they pick?
Galina
and Zubova.
Zubova picked pilot, and Osina is very much a navigator. She has the skill for navigation, but she's probably the best. As it stands, she's probably the best navigator among you all at the moment. So she does have her uses, of course. So Petrova sort of walks up and down a little bit, looks at each of you, and says, "Okay, now it's training, so rank is not so important. Let's see. I could pick her, but that would be perhaps unpopular among others. Yes. Junior Lieutenant Katsushina.
Good.
I would like you to take on the role during training as it stands of provisional section leader. This will mean nothing, of course, when you join your true section, as you will already have a more senior officer. But
Mhm.
as it stands, training is training, and the 588th can't afford to send down proper officers for training runs. Now, as of this moment, you're responsible for the department and the proficiency of the other 5 women under your command. If anything goes wrong in these missions, the responsibility ultimately falls on you. And if there's anything to answer for, you will be the one answering. Do you understand?
Sure. Very simple. Everything is my fault.
Ah, you've got it quickly. You'll make a fine officer.
Very Russian way of doing things. I approve.
Okay, good. That's why we thought you would be right. We thought perhaps Osina for a while, but we thought that might be sort of looks at Osina. Potentially not best for morale as it stands. You understand that, don't you, Osina? And Osina sort of looks a bit miffed at that, but sort of can't do anything else other than agree, quite frankly. Now, with our first training flight coming up in just a few hours, we need you to assign crew for this first mission. The crew can change from mission to mission, but I need you to assign a pilot and a navigator to each of the 3 planes. Now, I'll go into more detail shortly about the responsibility of these people, but first of all, I want you to choose planes where a pilot and navigator can work well together.
Okay. Remind me, which is which among our people?
Pilots are Volkovia,
Yes.
Voronin, and Zubova.
Gotcha.
I would
Okay.
suggest not using a 199. There are 200 planes in the regiment, and from 180 onwards, they're very much the. Let's just say it'd be amazing if it actually took off, let alone completed a mission.
Sounds like a perfect plane for Osina, but okay. If, as you say, we can chop and change as we go, I will put Zubova with me.
In which plane?
133.
133. Okay, and Zubova and me. Very good, very good. Katsushina.
We will try Voronin with Palenka.
Bear with me a second. My handwriting is very slow, comrade. Katsushina. Okay, very good. Who's next? Sorry.
Voronin Palenka.
Which plane would you like for this?
015.
Voronin as pilot. And Palinka. Very good, very good.
Which leaves Volkovia with I think is that Osina?
With Osina, yes. She's an excellent navigator. Very good. Very good, very good. Right, let's,
Which plane? What's their number?
084.
it's like
Yes, comrade, thank you.
here should be. There we are. Updated. Now, of course, our training planes, as people fly in them, they often develop nicknames for the planes, which of course would feel very wrong to do so before you've even been up in them. And as time passes, some of you may start to feel a connection to the plane, and it may come to have favourites or lucky planes or unlucky planes, planes that perhaps you can coax an extra few kilometres an hour out of when others cannot. But as it stands now, of course, it's very much a flat and even playing field, as it were. Yes, these look like fine teams. I think I would say you stand a chance, but it's very rare that anyone successfully completes the first mission. Oh, we are ready for our first training flight. You've all flown, some of you, the ones that are pilots at least, before in civilian life, but now you're to fly as a team under difficult and possibly deadly circumstances with precision and courage. Now, as you know, we are flying out of Engels Aerodrome. Nearby, the mighty Volga River, which is the most prominent aid to navigation. Now, you, Palinka, talked a lot about learning the maps. I assume you feel confident. I assume you feel confident around this area as much as any other.
Yes, Commander. I studied the way the fields lie and where the trees are, and also that there's a village to the southeast that has about 11 houses, and there's a man with a dog who likes to walk in the mornings, and there's some sheep in her, and she just a whole description of like maybe a 3-mile radius around the airfield. She has studied every detail minutely.
She's betrayed lady on the short one before she sort of waves her hand and rolls her eyes a little bit. So it's very, very good, Palinka. I see you understand. I see. I don't think the man and his dog will be particularly useful for the mission today.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. My apologies. Yes, Commander.
Okay.
Volkovia turns to Voronin and says, "That's some detailed map. If she knows that the man likes to walk his dog in the morning."
So I just blushes and kind of collapses into herself a bit.
I can see it being useful. We'll know what time of day it is.
Exactly. Speaking of knowing which time of day it is, this first mission, and I think the only mission like this that you will experience from now on, is during the daytime. Just to sort of get used to flying these crates. She sort of slaps one on the fuselage. These crates safely and back. To understand landing again. I'm sure as you get used to it, flying at night will become second nature. It should do. We expect it. But this time, this mission is a daylight mock bombing on a target range outside Bogoslavka. You will enjoy aggressive fighter bomber escort from the all-male 217th Assault Aviation Regiment under Captain D.P. Galanov. Now, for this first mission, as it is at day, wayfinding rules in the game will be optional because it's to bed you in a little bit. So we'll do one, but more to give you an idea of how it works. It's not going to cost the mission, but in the future, it can cause serious problems. Any potential enemy fire that you may come under is actually friendly fire from the 217th Tupolev SBs, or you might fly over some nervous Soviet anti-aircraft crews. We send so many flights out that sometimes it's hard to remind them what we're up to, and word doesn't always get out. So just be aware that if they do shoot you down, they didn't mean it. There was no hard feelings among the comrades. You just need to fly to the target range. Drop off your bombs. Fly back again. You shouldn't have too many problems. Do you all understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, come on.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, Katsushina, I need you to choose someone who is going to wayfind, who's going to lead the flight to the target, who for the first part of the mission, their plane will be at the front and they will be in charge of plotting the correct route. Which navigator do you choose?
For me, it's an easy choice. For this first try, we'll go with Palinka.
Genuinely wasn't expecting that.
She knows when the man with the dog is at.
Oh, stop it.
And hopefully she knows to avoid him. And
Thank you. I will do my best for Mother Russia. Thank you.
And for the man with his dog, I hope. Who will be the pilot who leads you on your attack run?
For this first go, we're going to try with Voronin.
Voronin.
I'm totally not paying attention, and I'm waiting to see Vera cheer, raise a hand that she's all excited about leading this.
Very good, very good. Now.
Oh, so us? Oh, okay.
There you go. I've put an asterisk next to both of you. So plane 015 will lead the entire mission, with 084 and 133 on each wing. Now,
I have a great feeling about this.
Now, Volkovia, Katsushina. Each of you gets to take on a role called the Vedamaya, where you can cover an assigned plane. And if they get into difficulty, if trouble happens to them, you can swing to action to protect them and potentially take one of their consequences.
Good.
Katsushina, which plane do you wish to act as Vedamaya towards?
015, please.
Oh, fantastic. Makes a lot of sense. And you...
Protect the lead aircraft.
Indeed, indeed. And you, Volkovia?
015 as well.
A very heavily protected plane. I just hope 084 and 133 that your pilots are good enough to look after themselves.
You and me both.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, you leave in half an hour. So if any of you have anything you need to do beforehand, now is the time to do so. I shall meet you back here in 30 minutes for Wheels Up. Petrova marches off, leaving the 6 of you there.
I rush over hurriedly to Palinka, and we're going to be first. This is going to be exciting.
I hope I won't fail. I don't want to fail you. I'm sorry.
You won't fail. It'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong? It's a training mission.
I'm sorry I was late. It's a pleasure to meet you. Hello.
Hi, I'm I'm Junior Lieutenant Senya Voronin. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I
don't visibly trembling.
Don't worry, we'll learn together. I haven't flown much either.
um, I'm confident that I understand the mission and can guide us to success. And she snaps her heels together and salutes in a very formal kind of fashion.
Yeah, sure. And salute back. So do you want to help me just kind of run over the plane and just maybe make notes on each of the little doodads on the dash as to what does what? Just so I remember. I'd hate to forget at a crucial time.
Yeah, hearing the word doodad, like such a technical term, Zoya's eyes widen to the point where they're almost falling out. She pulls out a little pocketbook full of handwritten notes, including, of course, the pre-flight checks, and nods very politely, and then just starts working through her checklist.
And I'll take note when she gets to somewhere I have to pay attention and make a note on the dash.
We're so well matched.
As the two of you are pulling over notes, you notice the mechanics making their final sort of loading out the planes. They're fitting 6 50-kilogram bombs on, and they're sort of making sure, from what they can tell, that the 7.62 millimeter SH-CAS machine gun is as close to in working order as they can assume it will be. Obviously, assuming that you won't need that, but still, it's good to have it there. As one of them sort of finishes up, they walk past and they sort of salute at you, Katsushina. Says, I see you've been put in charge of the mission.
Temporarily.
Fantastic. Please make sure the planes come back in one piece. There's no reason not to, but please be safe.
If I understand how these things work correctly, if they are not in one piece, they do not come back at all.
Yeah, generally, yes. I think that's a fair thing to say. I've been very busy recently. Me and my crew have not slept much for the last couple of weeks, and it would be wonderful if all we had to worry about for your planes was refueling and reloading for the next mission.
I'm happy with that solution. Let's go that way.
If there is any damage done, can you promise me one of your crew to come and help us out tomorrow morning?
We have people who have lived their lives covered in engine oil. I promise we'll be good.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Junior Lieutenant. It's much appreciated. They walk past.
Zoya salutes.
Zoya salutes a fellow sergeant. Through nerves. Yeah.
She's terrified.
I think you wield that salute like like some of those males wield their guns, just at everything.
My grandfather told me if you are uncertain, be obedient until you understand. And she salutes.
Okay.
Volkovia, as you're standing there, Asina walks over to you, and she says, "Comrades, I'm surprised that you weren't chosen to lead the mission. You, to lead the bombing run. You seem to be the best pilot we have."
I wouldn't. And her eyes are still darting around. I suppose the airfield, or as much of the planes as she can find. I wouldn't say the best. I'm just happy to do my part for Mother Russia.
Well, for Mother Russia, I'm sure. I was surprised. Let's put it that way. But if you're sure that Katsushina made the right decision, then I believe you.
Of course. And you and I, and she'll pat her on the shoulder. We'll do great things, I'm sure.
Yes, we will make it back with no problem at all. We'll prove that we're the best crew together, you and I.
Exactly, comrade. Exactly.
In fact, I'm going to coin a term that I think no one has ever used before. I would say that we could be the dream team.
I've not heard that term, but self-explanatory.
I think it could catch on.
Mm.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to visit the little lady's room. And she marches off up the track towards the barracks.
As she passes Zoya, Zoya politely reminds her that there is glory in humility.
There is very much glory and humility, Sergeant Palinka. Very wise Soviet words.
Salutes.
See, sort of smiles at you somewhat and sort of kind of salutes back at you as she hurries off. Now, is there anything any of you would like to do before you fly?
Does my plane have a name, or does it just have a number?
It has a number as it stands. I will allow you to name the plane if you make it back from the first mission.
If you survive.
If we survive.
It feels very forward to be naming planes belonging to the great Soviet Air Force while you haven't even flown one yet.
I would name mine the Salute or something. I don't know. Heel snap.
To be honest,
Zoya, go on, sorry.
To be honest, you can see that there's been obviously other names in the past that training teams have chalked on there that have been half rubbed off.
Oh.
But at least they're still on there.
Oh. Do they look like chalk marks, you said?
Yes, so the planes have got clear because they're training planes as well. So a lot of teams go
Alright.
through them. So they've sort of
So
you can see
They're
it,
made of
the-
wood.
Yeah,
So-
just chalked on.
Veronin will take out a piece of chalk or ask one of we'll ask Zoya if she has a piece of chalk. And then write on the side of it, not the plane you're looking for.
Zoya looks a bit surprised, but also a little bit amused, even though she tries to hide it.
Hey,
I think you and I, we will
Roll
do well today.
roll temp fate for me, please. Roll with guts, please.
Ooh,
2d6
who?
with guts. That would be Voronin for writing on a plane before she should have been allowed.
starting off great. 4.
That's it. 4. Okay. Okie dokie. Let me just check something.
Remember, what's her face? The snitch is off in the bathroom.
Now that is true. That is why.
Yeah, good
That
timing.
is why you can probably get away with that without too much trouble this time. But I just wanted to remind you that, of course, any such thing could lead to a roll. I will just double check.
I don't
I
think I've
believe
made a
Luke's
roll
trying
yet.
to put us under the cosh.
Yeah, you got to go straight away. Okay, she's away. With that, I'll let you get away with it this time. But be aware that any action that you do like that would be seen as could potentially have repercussions. I guess we'll have a roll because you're in the military, of course, and you've still got to prove yourselves. But as it stands, you get away with it, and the plane is indeed, I'd say, improved with such a statement upon it.
Zoya is about to salute, but instead she relaxes just a little bit and reaches out to shake Ksenia's hand instead. I think we will be good today.
I think so too. I have a really good feeling about this. I think we'll do wonderful. We'll be back, and we'll make it back.
glorious. It would be glorious.
Now, this is up and this is down, right? For the
Zoya's like not amused. She just gives a very blank expression and very diligently goes back to her checklist to not think about whether or not you might be joking.
Okay. Unless anything else? Just nope.
No, good to go.
Cool. Athena returns, and shortly afterwards, Petrova returns. Looks, she's got like a hot drink with her, which she just finishes off, and she smiles at the six of you. Says, "Okay then, everyone in, and don't make a mess. These are very precious planes." She sort of smirks a bit.
Yeah, mount up, I guess.
Yeah, probably
Okay.
in the most confident body language that Vera has had since being here. She'll vault into the plane seat.
Yep. Jumping in and waving to my pilot, you sit here.
So we've had Maverick and Goose. Cool.
That is a good question, actually. Who's in front? Pilot or navigator?
I believe
Pilot, I think.
it's the pilot.
The navigator's looking down, literally through the bottom of the ship, the plane, I believe.
It's very because you're only flying up to like 1,000 foot high. It's not very high up. 1,000 foot. You can see especially in the day. Yeah, you're looking through the floor. You can look over the edge. It's not that big a plane. When it comes down to it, you can literally peek over the sides. So yes. Whereas the pilot does need to sort of see where they're going a bit more.
Oh.
Okay. The pilot also has the controls for the weapons. So especially the machine gun, which hopefully you won't need to use today, unless you're firing at that man with his dog.
Zoya climbs with exceptional gracefulness into the cockpit, arranges herself so that her legs flank the hole in the bottom, and she's ready to go. She's got like a map pinned to the side of the plane. She's completely composed, utterly ready.
On one of the chances we had to do a little bit of walking around the city, Senya managed to find something that she needed when she noticed that Vera had goggles. So
Excellent.
We've got Kelly waiting.
Giggles! Perfect.
I'm looking forward to it flapping out behind you as you fly, quite frankly. Splendid. Petrova smiles at you all and says, This is step one in what I hope will be a long and illustrious career with the 588th. Fly well, everyone. Complete your mission, and I'll see you home in time for dinner. And she turns on her heels, takes a few steps back to watch you take off. Well, the game itself, you don't need to make rolls to check you can fly. It's assumed that everyone that's a pilot can fly. The mission is quite simple, especially as the missions get harder. There'll be more rolls, but for a basic one, I can run you through. There's very few sections to it. However, what might be nice is as you're sort of going down the runway and taking off, I'd love to know how each of you are feeling at this point. It's your first mission, so if each of you could just give me a little vignette of how it is. I've never flown such a plane. I'd love to know how you guys feel. Vera.
Oh, okay, Vera.
Sorry.
Go on, Vera.
Well, I suppose ever since just before she got in the plane, Vera is feeling a lot more natural and confident and self-assured. I like to imagine before taxiing or whatever the equivalent is, she runs through a series of like checks, throttle, flaps, rudder, quite forcefully, very confident. And she feels a lot more at home here than she certainly does in a barracks full of people, even with Asina sat behind her.
Asina, when it comes to the missions, Asina does have your back, and as you climb friend, she will sort of tap you, sort of in a friendly way, clap you on the shoulder, and wish you good luck and good flying.
Who's doing the clunking?
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
We need to know it. Who would you like to clonk?
I'd like to say right now, I will clonk Kelly for free.
Vera, you have a you have a responsibility to the story now. It doesn't have to be that person, but there needs to be a clonk.
Right, okay. That's how it. So as she's going through her checks and she gets to the last of her checks and is clearly very excited, she just starts plonking herself around the head and stretching out a little bit. She turns to Asina and ready, comrade.
Asina nods and sort of leans her head forwards, seeing your helmet hitting to offer her head
And she
for a bit of.
slaps the side of her helmet for the motherland.
I'm feeling good. Let's fly. Maria, how feels you sat in the back seat of 133?
She's been less and less nervous, I think, through training. As she gets closer to being able to fly, she's more and more eager, more and more excited at the opportunity to finally strike back against the Nazi menace. So you won't be able to wipe the smile off her face.
Wow. And the Nazi menace does start with some barrels in a random field somewhere, of course. It all counts.
First the battles, then the Nazis.
Excellent. How about you, Senya? How are you with your scarf?
Well, once she put the scarf on, she looked at the plane. It kind of suddenly hit her in reality what she's about to do. And so then she kind of calls back on some of her training as she trained for the ballet and stuff like that. And she just starts doing some stretches and just gets into a very short routine, loosens up her arms, her shoulders, does some bends, which probably if any of the guys are around, they're enjoying, and just kind of works out some kinks and stuff as she kind of gets her mind ready. And as she does, she kind of puts herself into the frame of mind again of getting out on stage. And she's hoping that as the plane takes off, she can capture that feeling again of some of those leaps of faith that she did into arms of others. And she's looking forward to this.
Fantastic. And how about you, Zoya?
Zoya was terrified, but there is a strange kind of liberation, that a sense of liberation that comes when you have no choice except to go forward. And so accepting that her fate is beyond her reach now, this is just what has to happen now. And she starts to relax a little bit, and she hears her grandfather's voice, and he gave her his very expensive leather gloves when she left to join the squadron, and she pulls them on, and feels suddenly very confident and very at ease with the fact that this is her purpose. This is what she came here to do, and one way or another, this time will pass and the end of the day will come, and that's when she will know the outcome. She's just got to literally do the job, and there's no point. She's not one to get all mixed up about it. She's just focused and ready to go.
Fantastic. And so as the 3 planes take off one after another, and they fall into formation with the 015 front and center, and the 133 to the left, and the 084 to the right, you catch each other's eyes because you're flying so close to each other that you can in fact see each other out. And there's sort of there's looks at each other through the goggles. There's little hand signals, waves, and things that you've learned from your training that you're able to put into practice. Especially for Palinka, who's able to sort of he'll be sort of tapping forward to Voronin to sort of make adjustments, and then across to the other planes to sort of help them on their way. Of course, it's daytime and it's relatively clear. The drizzle of the early morning has cleared up, and while it's hard to say the sun is out, at least the clouds have definitely lifted. And as you fly over the town, and there's the man with his little dog, and Palinka resists the urge to lean forwards and drop the bombs on him. And and you fly through, and there's a real sense. Even those of you that have flown before, this is the first time that you've really flown with a sense of purpose and sense of pride in what you're doing. And you are a member of the Red Army. You are fighting for your country as it stands. And it's only training, but training is honourable. And it's a really important moment for you. And you're flying for a while. Time is passing. The planes themselves can fly up to 150 kilometers an hour. But as a cruise, you're normally doing about 110. And the first range is it's about 100 kilometers away. They want sort of to get you going. It's a bit of a meandering route, but they're sort of getting used to it. And you spend that sort of hour sat in the plane, getting used to the discomfort, knowing that maybe some kind of pillow or padding might be a good idea in future, because bums are going numb and legs are needing a bit of a shake and a wiggle from time to time.
And it's cold.
It is cold.
It's cold up
you're
there.
Flying. It is. Like I say, the clouds have lifted, but you're still at sort of you might get up to you're not flying too high. You're probably looking at about, I think it will probably take you to about 600 meters at highest today. You're not trying to avoid anything. So there is definitely a chill, but the land laid out below you is very beautiful, and it's your land. And although you don't know the area well, you know the country. And as you're flying through, I'm going to need Palinka to make, as I said, we don't need to, but I want it so we get used to how it works. Palinka, I need you to take a wayfind roll, because you are the one leading the flight to the target. Now, it says for daylight, generally you find it. But as I said before, I wish for you to roll for this one. I need you to roll 2 dice with adding your skill, please.
Okay, well, I've got nothing to add in that case, so it's just 2 dice.
Right, and before you roll, I want people to remember that you have that one. That's right. If it's successful, keep it. If it wasn't, you can roll again, because it's a daytime wayfind. You remember you have got a little Kopek coin there, which is you can add that point to a roll. So if you roll 1 too low, you could add it to make it a success, if that makes sense. But then it's gone.
Oh, is that like a boon? So they buy boons for the table.
It's not a full boon, but it'll nudge up a score by 1 because you have 1.
Is that because of what Maria earned last game?
Yeah, those hold over. They hold over until the mission. Then after a mission, it's cleared. You earn them during the day, and then you can spend them in your mission, if that makes sense, or to achieve other things. Yeah, I think it's quite nice because the vibe is good. So things are feeling quite positive at the minute. So if you could roll, please. You're looking for a 10 plus, which is a very tough roll. A 7 to 9 is all right.
I rolled a 9.
A 9, okay. Well, it's up to you two. Whether all of you can make a decision whether you want to stick with a success but with a consequence, or a clear success.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, with a consequence. This is our first ever run.
Yep, sounds sensible to me.
I have a potential consequence or a situation. I'm not sure what the consequence would be, but
Look, if you're about to crack a mammoth fart, really don't do it.
that would just warm us up.
We need there's one of three to be chosen, and Palinka will choose it. But she can listen to other people's suggestions, but it'll be Palinka that makes the final choice.
Okay.
So you find you're doing a good job. You're fine. You're following the rivers. You did indeed learn the maps, as you said. You weren't lying. You know where to go. You're doing well. But because of the excitement and sort of the change, you're a little bit higher than you have ever been in the past flying. One of the next three things is going to happen. Okay. I want either your plane suffers a minor mechanical failure, so it's damaged. Your plane gets a little bit damaged, or you've sort of freaked out. This would normally trigger enemy fire, but because of this, it's sort of some of the Soviets down below have spotted you and sort of are firing up without realizing quite what's going on. A bit of friendly fire,
like the guy with the dog.
Yeah, exactly. He spotted what's going on. He's not very happy. Or you're a bit stressed and banged around, and you have to split some harm. Harm adds up and might mean that you eventually die from it, but maybe you need to take like a break, sleep during the day, or you miss a day, or you have to go to hospital, depending on the more harm you get. So you all can all discuss, but Palinka will need to choose either a minor mechanical failure for the plane, or triggering enemy fire, or you're stressed. Now, before you choose, I'm sorry for the explanation, but it's the first time, so I need to, of course. Maria or Vera, because they have Vedemaya, or however you say it, Vedemaya, they can jump in and take that consequence on themselves because they're looking out for you. If it's decided that's what they want to do. So, for example, if there's a lot of... They can only do that once in a mission, though. So they might hold back and sort of decide to save it in case things go wrong later on. Okay. So what would you like to do? A minor mechanical failure, go through some enemy fire stuff, which I'll keep safe because it's training, or you get a bit stressed and banged around.
My feeling right off the bat is a new crew, an unfamiliar plane, and these things, these very mechanical things have like funny ways and wiles, and you have to get to know them. So it might be that she's turned the viewport window a little bit too hard or something, and it's cracked and she doesn't get a clean view anymore. Just something really simple that comes as a result of just not being that familiar with the equipment yet. But I don't know what you guys think.
Sounds fine.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So as you're sort of, you're flying a bit higher, and because of a couple of quick like alterations to route you need to make, you're pretty certain you should be flying down following one river, and then you suddenly realize, oh no, this isn't the one, and you sort of tap on Voronin quickly to try and get it to switch direction, and because of the sudden change in height and direction, you do cause a slight bit of damage in the plane, and that bit of damage is I'm going to roll the dice for it actually.
Oh, I didn't realise I wouldn't get to choose what was damaged, but no, that's cool. That's fine.
That's all right. It's not too much really. Basically, you've because of the sudden sort of torque on it, I guess, you've caused a bit of damage to the rudder. Nothing too serious. It'll take a little bit of working out. Don't worry too much about it as it stands. You'll get back okay. So A15. Yeah.
I think as you correct Senya on the course there, she might maybe crank it a little too hard against the crosswind or whatever like that, and it pulls it a little too fast, and she overcorrects.
Yeah. So it jams out a little bit. Luckily, Voronin's a good enough pilot that she can fly with it slightly wonky as it stands, a bit jammed, but it will need a looking at probably, otherwise it'll affect you later on. But good flying though.
But we are otherwise successful though. We succeed.
Yeah, you got there. Thanks
We're
for the
on
quick
course.
thanks to some quick thinking from you and some quick thinking from Voronin, you have made it. You've made it there.
Nice.
So, as you make it there, it's time for you to make this attack run. And it is literally a bunch of boxes and barrels that have hastily been thrown into a big pile in a field. A field that looks like it's been used a number of times for a similar situation. And you need to make an attack run. And that's for Voronin, as it stands. But remember, the other two planes might need to step in and help if it doesn't quite go the way she needs it to.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please roll for an attack on the target? You need to roll plus your guts, please, which you don't have any. And again, a 10 plus is ideal.
No.
A 7 to 9 has consequences, and lower than that ain't great.
Might I use the Copac here?
You can, yes.
What does everybody else think? Is that good?
Yeah, have a shot.
You can do it after you roll, though. You can do it after you roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can make a decision.
Yeah, I'll do it after the roll.
Bonk.
All right. Good thing, because it was a 4 and a 1 before, and now it's a 4 and a 3.
4 and a 3. Okay. So
A little shaky.
it's a little shaky. You sort of let go of the ordnance, which all of you see sort of crashing towards the target. You have to choose 2 consequences here. So you, Vedemeyers, need to listen up in case you think you need to take some risks. Okay. The first one is you damage the target, but it's not significant, and Voronin, it's your fault. So it's you hit it, but not great, and that might not go down too well.
Okay.
The second one, you hit a flak as you're getting in close. Again, there's a sort of some guys around that don't realise quite what's going on, and they fire up at you for this training one. That'll make more sense in full missions, of course, later on.
Mm-hmm.
A damaged plane, some more damage in your section, which I get to choose, or you and your fellow airwoman, so the 2 of you in your plane, get marked, which is something that sort of sticks with you from now on, which will be a range of things.
First one was which again?
The damage to the target is not significant, and it is your fault. Vendemeyer, you can take a consequence, but I believe you can also tempt fate, and you can make a roll for it to try and save the situation. But if you fail it, there'll be a worse outcome. Let's put it that way.
I don't want to make things worse, but I will intercept one of those consequences, if it's okay.
Yeah. How does this? Do we choose can we just pick a consequence and say I'll take that as one consequence, or does Kelly choose the consequences and then we'll say, oh, I'll take that?
Voronin will choose the consequences, and you can decide that you're willing to jump in to help. If Voronin knows that you're likely to do that, she can potentially pick things that she knows you can hack, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I'm planning to leap in then.
All right. So then, I think as we approach the target and Sergeant Palinka taps me to let me know that we're over and gives a countdown and stuff for it, I momentarily get distracted, and I'm a little bit late on the release, and it is not a complete success on the bombing. And as I try to overcorrect at just the last minute, again, that rudder kicks in, and I overcorrect and kind of sweep us into causing some of that flak.
Some flak. Oh, fantastic. Yep. Okay.
All right. Then I will try to intercept the flak, if that makes sense. Try and get myself across, direct my pilot, go left.
Yes, indeed. So you spot you spot Katsushina that as Voronin is sort of letting loose the bombs, that some sort of unexpected countrymen have fired up at you, assuming that it's a sort of an enemy attack. They're very much on edge at this point because, you know, this winter was bleak and there was a big Nazi advance, so they're very much on edge. You need to roll luck, please, plus a luck. So roll your 2 dice plus a luck.
For me?
Yes, please, if you're taking
Yeah,
it.
okay. 2 dice plus luck. Well, my luck is 0, so that's easy. Having absolutely no idea whether low or high is good. I hope high is good because I rolled an 11.
The high's very,
Nice.
high's very good. The plane takes flak, but from what you can tell, it's a flesh wound, not for you, but for the plane. And the old girl's in one piece, and from what you can tell, it's fine. It was quite a heroic move actually to sort of dive in that way, and it was a terrible mistake, which you hope they'll get chewed out for by their commanding officer later on. Excellent. Voronin, what would your second consequence be?
Well, the first one is not
They're not hitting it.
successful run. Yeah, so this is on her.
Cool. And the second one is the not significant damage. Okay. You do see, as you look out sort of over the edge, that you've caught the edge of it. A couple of barrels have gone, but it's not looking great. Now you can leave it like that as you want, or you can tempt fate, or I'll let Volkova do it as well. It's up to you. Tempt fate might mean that, you know, Volkova can drop a couple of bombs to try and finish it off, or, you know, you might be able to find a way around it. But if you fail, it's going to be a dreadful outcome, and you need to hit.
Were they not all expecting to drop their bombs? Did they not all have payloads that they were expecting to release?
No, I believe the idea that only the lead one does in this first one. This is the training mission is the training mission is awkward because it runs slightly different to the other one, if that makes sense. Because everything becomes more deadly. I'm just trying to run you through it a bit so you understand.
Ordinarily, everybody would be releasing their bombs. This time, it's just us.
But it would be very much Voronin taking charge and saying fire, and everyone just lets go, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's on Voronin's roll, so it's the person.
So if I wanted to, as you said earlier, step in and take with that roll.
Yeah, for this one, I'd lower it to tempt fate, which you roll with guts. A 10 plus, you'll make it better. You'll make the situation better. But on a 7 to 9, it's going to get worse, and under 7, something very bad could potentially happen.
Okay, so I guess it kind of fits, but I'll totally do that, and maybe rather than follow, unless anyone's got any major objections.
We hit the target. We're still in the air. Let's go. She's waving her hand like in the circle motion. That means let's go home.
Yep. Voronin agrees, and this is on her, and it is only a training mission, so she'll do better next time, but I don't think we want to crash any planes or anything, make it worse.
Yeah, we found our target. We hit our target. It's the first mission. We were expected to fail. We've exceeded all expectations. We don't need to boss this.
That's all 3 of them. Okay, sure. Fine.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's take it home and say this was good enough.
I'm just going to roll just to see what would have happened.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Just
you're gonna get a
just don't
12,
tell
It's
us.
going to be wasted.
But I'm not going to tell you what happens.
It's not this is last night. This is
Well-
still happening.
We are in the darkest Ewan timeline. It really is.
No. It's a
Yeah.
good thing. I don't tell you the consequence. You know, you don't feel bad. You don't feel good.
This is
You're
one where
just
Jeff
sat in the
Corbett
middle
dies.
somewhere.
I will just always wonder.
Oh,
Who
see, it
knows?
wants to-
If you don't want to see, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes.
Close your eyes now.
Oh, hold on. I was going to put it in chat, but
Don't, because
I'll
they
get
can see
back to
that.
what they were.
Keep your eyes closed.
That's what the dice came up as.
5, 4.
Oh, I saw
3,
it. You held it up
2,
for such a long
1.
time.
Okay, open your eyes again. I didn't say open your eyes. What's wrong with you?
Luke was counting down. Go, go, go.
Okay, go, go, go.
Move it
It's
along,
fine.
Luke. Move it along.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So the planes make their way back with, I believe it would be very much mixed emotions for all of them. Their first mission, and that hour back is a long hour. Sort of, it's the planes are noisy as they are. It's cold. You start to feel the gnawing hunger. You realise you didn't eat lunch.
So
through
let's not
sort of
forget, we're
excitement.
all wearing skirts up there. We're not in trouser suits. We're not clad in wool. We're wearing tweed skirts.
And you're wearing old men's jackets, dead men's jackets generally.
Yeah, legs akimbo over a window in the bottom of a wooden aeroplane. It's not warm.
Probably for the best you're not flying too low then. And as the planes draw in, just as it starts to get darker. It gets dark at around sort of about 4:30 at this time of year, where you are, and the landing is okay because none of you took serious damage. If Katsushina's roll had failed, it's quite possible that her plane could have been damaged, which meant she'd have had to make a wheels down maneuver, which is trying to land in less than ideal circumstances, which could have ended in a fiery mess at worst, or a
Wow.
broken mess at best.
Okay.
I mean, I've been called a hot mess fairly regularly in Somalia.
But as it stands, it's all okay, and the three of you, the three planes get down, and you sort of get onto the runway, and you pull off to the side, and there you are met by the mechanic crew. There's like 3 mechanics there. The sergeant that you saw before, and two of her privates, and Senior Lieutenant Petrova is standing there, waiting for you to get out of the planes and walk over to her.
As soon as we're down, of course, I will hop down and check that my pilot is hopping out as well, and then stride smartly over to Petrova.
Fantastic. So Petrova is standing by the door of the briefing hut, and she waits for the 6 of you to come over. And when you're stood there,
Sunya, when Sunya,
Zoya takes a moment to offer some support. We hit the target, comrade. We were successful.
yeah, but it's never enough here.
Well, we were expected not to hit the target at all. Small steps to victory. Small steps.
Yeah, I just know Dina is going to make a big deal out of it.
I'm going to rest a hand on Voronin's shoulder quickly and say, very first mission. Very first one.
Yeah, I'm just glad nobody was hurt.
And the unexpected friendly fire.
Yeah, that was amazing. You dove right into that.
Yeah. It irritates me when Russians shoot at Russians.
Guess we gotta get over there.
Petrova, as soon as you approach, nods to you, and says, "Junior Lieutenant Katsushina, please debrief me on your mission."
The mission was largely a success. A little bit of inexperience, a few shaky hands and nerves. We struck the target, but not precisely where we needed to be. Other than that, everything okay.
How did your wayfinding go, Palinka?
I followed the river eastwards and then forgot briefly that there was a fork that we needed to take. But I corrected course with my pilot very, very quickly, and we got to the destination exactly as scheduled.
Very good. And what happened when you got to the target, Voronin?
Sir, our navigator, or my navigator, got us there right on time, gave the right indications. I was a little bit late on the release and missed partially the target, sir. That seemed to also trigger something else, and I noticed that Junior Lieutenant Maria had to dive in to protect us from some local fire. I wasn't expecting that either, but we all came out okay, and I'll do better next time, sir.
She nods slowly at you. And what I need you to do, Voronin, I'd like you to tick off on your marks. You've gained a mark from that. Can you tick off tell the unvarnished truth for me, please? Often you'll be able to choose, but I want this one for you. This means at some point in the future, so getting marks as they fill up is basically a death sentence. Right now, it's not. But as more of these things happen, it's like you're becoming more rugged. Things have happened to you. Things are getting tougher. You know, the war is getting on top of you. And there are some things
Emotional damage.
Eventually, there is one mark. Once you had enough marks, the last mark is embrace death and face your final destiny.
Okay.
So you will run out of things to choose, if that makes sense, and you'll have to take it.
Yeah.
For this one specifically, because of how you went about it, Voronin, I want you to tick off tell the unvarnished truth. You've come across truthfully in it, and so at some point in the future as well, I need you to do the same again. Does that make sense? To be very truthful, very unvarnished truth about something. That's the mark you have to carry now. Yeah,
Makes sense. Yeah,
cool.
Got it.
Because you've proved that you're honest in what you did, and I think that would
You're a warts and all kind of girl.
exactly. So often you'll
I
be
don't
able to,
use filters on Instagram.
so often you'll be able to choose your marks. But yes, for that one, I think that one fits nicely.
Yes.
Petrova nods at you all, and she said, "I did hear through the radio about half an hour ago that some idiots from the infantry were on the ground, and they mistook you for the enemy, and they fired up. And mark my words, it will not go unpunished. There will be repercussions for them. I'm glad you made it back safely." And she sort of looks over at the planes. She's got a well-trained eye, and she spots the Rudrum one. She says, "You made it back mostly intact. You've earned yourself your evening meal, and then I suggest bed, and then your next mission will be tomorrow evening." And
Yes,
she
sir.
nods at you. "Now fall out," and she walks off.
Palinka returns to her plane and examines the damage, partly to see if there's anything that she can do to fix it right off the bat.
When you're there, the chief mechanic is there, and she is indeed looking at it. She's sort of pulling at it with her hand. It's a very, with these planes, are very much a sheer strength kind of thing quite often. And she's sort of grimacing. And she says, "Is this your plane, comrade?"
Yes, comrade.
I spoke with your acting section leader, and she promised me that she would ensure that if there was any damage, one of you would be able to help us, as we are very busy at this time. Do you believe that promise of hers stands to be truth?
Oh, I absolutely do. Yes, I believe I understand. Well, the rudder tore as we banked too sharply to return to our intended course, and so it's just a shearing. I believe it's just become unbound from the wire that tethers it. I believe it will be repairable.
Very good. Well, I hope your repairing skills are good, because I will need you in the workshop tomorrow morning at 0700. You may eat your breakfast, and I need your 0700. Ask for Sergeant Chesova, and I hope we will be able to get it done. And I would expect you to get this plane looking as good as it can by lunchtime with me.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Zoya looks thrilled. She's really excited at this.
Can I actually come over and volunteer to help as well? I've got a repair skill.
Oh, nice.
So walk over and say, you need a hand tomorrow.
If you're interested in ensuring your 3 planes are at their very best, I could certainly use all the help we could get for the morning. If nothing
There
else,
is nobody who's more excited about these planes being in top condition than the people who are in them.
if nothing else, refueling. I can show you I can train you how to refuel, how to recheck the tires, how to check for any. She sort of suddenly walks around one side of the plane and sees the bullet holes down one side. Ah, yes, I heard about this. Yes, I'll show you how to fix up some holes. There may be some parts you need to get, but I'll work out what it is in the morning. Until then, please enjoy your evenings, eat well, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Salutes.
Good stuff.
Zoya whispers to Maria, papier-mâché and some wallpaper paste.
Optimist.
If that was the case, those training planes would be at 90% papier-mâché by now.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they pretty much are, to be fair, let's face it. A balsa wood. Okay, and you see the other sections, and that you see there's sort of a hubbub heading over to the mess, which of course you don't have to, but food is being served.
Oh, definitely food time.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like to think on the way over that Vera, still somewhat confident from the time in the plane, congratulates each of her 3, the 3 main comrades, the ones that don't snitch on you, on their roles and their performances during the mission. Well done. It was perfect. We made it back. Minor damage to planes because of some falls on the ground, but congratulations to each of you.
Yeah, it could have been worse. So, good job, all of you.
I'm sorry, it's maybe a bit out of turn, but I'm curious about your name, Volkovia. That doesn't sound.
The eyes almost roll, but sort of get halfway, and she says, "The other women in my family are Volkova. My the registry of my birth may have incurred some complications, some clerical errors, I suppose, shall we say."
Right. As you're sat, you go through to the mess, and as before, it's the same. You've got. Oh, I need to plug my phone in. The battery's running out. We're relying on my phone today. As you head in, as before, you see everyone sort of sitting at the trestle tables with sort of eight or so people there. I'll put some music on because we have to have music in this scene. Because it's the mess, and you queue up for your food. It's very similar before. What is quite exciting is that the portion of bread is quite hearty this evening. It's there's obviously been a new batch come in, and it's almost like double rations, which is fantastic because the soup is very much the soup you've learnt to know and love, maybe. And
Borscht? Is it borscht? It's borscht.
You've had borscht a few times this week, but this one is not. You can tell because when things are good, there's borscht, but it's been quite watery again the last few days. Which is not.
Can we make a T-shirt that says "When things are good, there's borscht"?
When things are good, there's borscht.
I would totally wear that.
Write it on
Yeah.
Write it on
Sort of
Discord.
myself.
I'll sort it out this week.
Okay,
Please do, because I don't want to forget. I quite like that.
I'm doing it now.
And while as you're sort of sitting eating, you guys get to level up, which is very, very exciting.
Ooh.
The vibe is good. The music is it's a popular modern song which you love, and the toes are tapping, and the chat is good, going over the excitement of the first mission. And I need each of you to do the following. I need you to advance. So if you look on the back of your character sheet, you'll have something saying advancement. And there's lots of boxes you can tick. The one you can't tick is moving west. You can't just like bump us to the next duty station. Mostly because I haven't prepared that one yet. And we need to do some training missions anyway. But you can add some squares. And now, for example, harsh lessons, you get to add a new move, but you'll need 3 of those. And then you'll rub them out and add a new move and so on.
Yeah.
Deepening ties, you need 4. Personal growth, you need 3. That's where you get a +1 to your skills, for example. You can get a new medal with honor and pride. You can increase your rank as well. So I'd like you all to add one, but I do need you to tell me what you're doing, because I need to add it to mine as well.
All right. So what do we add? We add.
Just tick a box under advancement. Tick.
Okay. Any box we like under advancement.
Apart
right.
from moving west.
Yep. Gotcha.
Open a regard slot. Can I open a regard slot?
You'll need a number of them to do that though. You will need 4 boxes.
Okay.
But don't worry, because you are about to get a new regard next as well. So don't worry about that one so much if you don't want to, because you're about to get that as a level up as well.
Oh, okay. In that case, So raise gut slots or skill. Does that mean you have to get 3 of those to raise at one point?
Yes.
Okay.
I will take the personal growth
Cool.
Yeah, me too.
whilst others are deciding.
You too.
Likewise.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yep. I'm going to do the same actually.
I think. Look at you all
Trend-
growing as
trendsetter.
individuals. And now the other thing you need to do to level up is you get to choose a deepening tie and regard. So what you do here is you will choose a person or an aeroplane and write that in your. You can have 4 people or planes in a combination that you have regard for. So on the front of your sheet, it will say regard. I something, someone the most. So I need you to pick a comrade or an aircraft. So it needs to be someone you know, someone that we've talked about. It can be one of your current comrades, or it can be a commanding officer, or that mechanic, for example, anyone you've interacted with. And then with regard, I've got some words that you can use to sort of help you get a vibe for it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Let me
Yeah.
let me find it for you. This might take a second to find. Regard. Je regarde. Da-da-da. Pick who you want something with, or the plane you want someone with first. While I'm looking
mine's Kelly's character.
while I'm looking for certain words for you.
Is it PC or NPC as well? Can
Yep.
we pick absolutely anyone?
Anyone you want.
Nice.
Where's it gone? Where's it gone?
Yeah, I picked Casimia because of her honor, her flying, and her honesty.
Wow.
And her humor, actually. All the H's.
Oh, the H's.
4 H's.
Honor, honesty, and humor. 3 and another one. But yeah, she picks 4 and 8.
Three.
Right. I think I'm going to go for an easy one to kick off.
Are you writing your own name in there, Ben?
No. I if only one could. Since it's a little, a bit inexperienced for me in this system, I'm going to start with something that makes logical sense to me. I'm going to suggest I trust Palinka the most.
I like it.
Okay.
No, cry face.
Trust. So you trust Palinka the most. Okay, fantastic. I'll go with trust. Now, every now and again, you'll get a chance to change your regard, so relationships can change. So
Sure.
that trust might become distrust at some point if Palinka proves you otherwise as part of your character.
Yeah. Yeah, but we have similar interests, similar approaches. We have similar skill sets. She's someone I think I can rely on.
Fantastic. I can't find the words because it's buried in the book somewhere. Anyone got any others? Just usual sort of words, really.
Trust
is it the
the
ones-
same.
Yeah, there are some written on the actual sheet.
There's a few on the
Love,
sheet.
trust, admire, respect, hate, resent, pity, fear, etc.
Yeah. There we go. There's a few there.
Oh,
But there's others. You can pick any that I think.
admire. I admire Ksenia.
Oh, nice. Yep. Fantastic.
Hey, Crit.
Hey, Crit.
Ooh, Kelly, you've got a tale to make up.
We'll get
Yeah?
that. I know. We'll get that in tomorrow in the game if that's okay. I think that's we can find a spot for that quite easily. How you doing, Crit? Ewan and Kelly. What would you like your vibe to be?
Not sure quite of the word, but certainly my regard will be for Maria, because that's the second time she's come to Veronan's aid. One time sitting with her with the Polna truck lessons, and also diving in to pick up flack in that last one.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. I can't think of the word for it, but I know exactly what you mean.
Something like
Lady
protective
Boner.
or yeah. It's 2 words, but okay.
It makes
What-
sense.
What did she say? What was the word? What was the 2 words? Sorry.
You don't want to write it down. That's fine.
No, okay. Have a think, Kelly. I know because I know you know the vibe. When you come up with a word today or another time, just if you need it, Discord me or something like that, and we can. Because I know exactly
Okay.
what you mean with it. Ewan.
I'm gonna break trend, I think, and I'm gonna say that given the situation and the time spent in flight and perhaps Vera's outlook on people in life, I'm gonna say that she pities Asina for her
Okay.
for her zealot nature and what that's she realizes, having spent time with her in flight, that she's a nice person, and she let her psych her up around the head, but she feels sorry that she's so dedicated to the cause that she'll sell out those friendships, and she pities her somewhat.
I really like that. This is the new Ewan. I'm a big fan. We're back from murder Herbo Ewan to thoughtful Ewan again. That's nice.
Well, I've got amends to make, haven't I? So here we are.
Fantastic. So you eat and you relax and you're sort of chilling and you chat with each other and those around you, and the vibe is good and things are good and you've succeeded and you've survived your first mission, and you head back to the barracks for, as always is, an early night. It's dark early, the lights are dim, and you have to be up early in the morning. And I think a good time to take the break is just as Logistic Sergeant Masha Katieva comes barging into the barracks at 5:30 in the morning, telling you all to wake up because it's the start of another day.
Banging a mess bin.
Yeah, exactly. So that is where we're going to finish. I think so if everyone takes a break, I think we'll try and run for about an hour at most after. And I'd like us to get, so that you're all aware, I'd like us to get a day done and then one more flight done today would be wonderful as well, if everyone's okay with that.
Ooh, okay,
Very
exciting.
nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. That would be great.
So just to clarify for Crit, I'm pretty sure Luke meant tomorrow in game, not
Yes.
tomorrow in stream.
Yes.
When we're not streaming
Yeah.
for the
Yes.
tale. So it will be coming.
Yeah.
Another bit of classic
The-
fobbing off crit fail again. Like
The game essentially breaks into days.
Yeah.
Each one
And
with a
also-
mission and other things.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to say that.
All right.
That would be silly.
Right. Let's take a break then. There's time for
Yeah.
silliness later. Right. Cool. Everyone. See you in
Brilliant.
5. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. We are here. I'm here with the brave members of the 588th. Well, the trainees at the minute, but they're brave nonetheless. You can be brave trainees. And the morning.
Have you seen what we're flying?
Yeah, you need to be brave to fly those, don't you? That's for sure. The morning comes, and the clanging of the pans by Katieva. In fact, I can put her up for you just to remind you of how wonderful she is, how charming and friendly and lovely she is. She yells at you to get up. It's for like the 20th time that she's done it, you know, and get ready. You've got 5 minutes, and you're used to a quick, you know, a very quick wash with any sort of water from a sort of a butt outside that's there. You have to break the ice on, of course, the first person every morning. And quick wash, quickly get dressed, brush through your hair, get yourself looking presentable, and then off to the mess for food starting before 6. As you walk through, you do get that vibe that this is going to be the last time that you go to breakfast having slept. Because, of course, from now on, as you fly your nighttime missions, you will be having breakfast as the last meal of the day, of course. So you settle down, you enjoy. There's you don't know where they found it, but there's some fish there, which is a treat. So you get a bit of fish with your bread. Still no borscht, unfortunately. It's even waterier today. Obviously, they couldn't. They managed to get the fish, but that was about it. You know, everything else is very much basic supply still. And you're chatting away. You chat a bit with Zabova and Asina, minding your words a little bit around Asina. And one by one, everyone clears up and goes to go about their duties. You notice that one of the training sections isn't in because they've moved to the other barracks because they have already moved on to their nighttime missions, and so they're working things a bit differently to you now. And as you finish eating, and it's leisurely, and it's sort of 6:30.
Before we
yeah.
leave the meal, can I just pop in and relay a little story? I could have relayed over breakfast.
You can, as everyone's sort of finishing up their meal. It's been a nice breakfast together after a successful mission. Yeah.
So once we find out that both Maria and Soya were working together on the plains, that reminds me of the time my grandmother was telling me. Actually, it was an uncle that pointed it out, but my grandmother went on and explained that she has these dreams. Like I told you before, my grandmother sees things, and some of them come true, some of them are yet to come true, but she's quite often right. And she was always being kidded by my grandfather for nailing these pieces of wood on the cart all the time. And she was asked once why she does that. The pieces of wood don't generally stay up there that awfully long. And she explained that she has these dreams sometimes of the cart breaking down. They'll hit a rut, or it'll be turned too fast, or one of the horses would kick it or something like that, and it would break. So she would nail up a piece of wood in that very spot. Now, as it turns out, it wasn't very often that the damage was actually done there, but she still managed to explain it away as saying that when damage did happen to the cart, things happen like that all the time, the pieces of wood were handy to be used in an emergency. So either way, I guess she kind of got her way on knowing that damage was coming and taking some preventative foresight to it.
It's a good plan.
So I don't know if that's something you want to consider for the planes. I don't think nailing wood to it would be helpful, but you know.
Zoya just slaps you on the shoulder and says, "Comrade, your babushka, she is a special lady."
She is.
Vera sort of nervously laughs it off, I suppose, and then that has the same darting eyes as she does normally across the room. But yeah. Or laughs off the nailing wood to the plane comment.
Maybe
but it's clearly her mind
under
is
the
somewhere
nails. We do wood and then some streamers, and then we nail that in so they look nice when we fly. And we'll bring beauty and bombs to the Nazis.
We're flying at night. You know this, yes?
We'll know they're there.
So what I could do is we're going to split the group. It's always split the party. The section has some free time to spend. And normally, if you're flying at night, you would need some sleep at this point, but you're all feeling quite refreshed. And you've got at least a couple of chunks of time. You've got the morning and you've got the afternoon, and perhaps a little chance before the mission as well to do things. Now, I know for a certain that the first two people we're going to join this morning, as the clock hits 7, or 0700, of course, are Maria and Zoya, as they head over dutifully towards the workshop together, I assume.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you decided what to call your plane yet?
I believe that's the pilot's privilege. I just fix it and fly, tell which way to go.
Kind of.
That's Vera getting in quickly with some naming, right? So you walk down the. There's a couple of ways. You sort of you head past the mess. You head past the logistics building L6. You hang a right and you head down to the workshop, and immediately you can hear. It's early morning, but you can hear clanging. You can hear sawing. You can hear some buzzing. You can hear a lot of noise. And as you enter
Dog
in,
barking,
oh, of
a
course,
parrot,
all
smashing
all sorts.
glass.
Exactly. You've gone into some kind of Jack Sparrow
It's a Beatles song.
sideward there. As you head into the workshop, you see it is full of planes and full of mechanics, and there's piles of spares and bits and pieces. And you can see there's a big pile of shovels, of course, as you were told that there was. There's far too many shovels, as Katieva said. But there's also a few strips of sort of thin wood that's used, a few parts, all sort of greased up and ready. There's they're working on planes from a couple of sections, and you immediately notice a few that you recognise. You notice your 015, your 084, and your 133 are all in there, and you notice another 4 or 5 planes from the other women's trainee sections, and there's a few mechanics coming and going. They haven't started refueling yet, so it's more fixing up bullet holes, trying to replace some stuff. One has its engine out, and they're sort of really having a go at that. There's another where a couple of mechanics are in the cockpit of one, sort of pulling bits and pieces out and rewiring, doing what they can in there. And in that hustle and bustle, you see your beloved 015, of course, with its wonky rudder, and you see your 133, I believe, with the bullet holes down one side.
Well, as it's still not quite 7, Zoya will pull Maria off to one side and just beckon quietly. Quick, come here. I was late because I was on a reclamation mission where we gather up all the metal and scrap and we send it to Moscow for turning into casings. You know how it is, for the effort. But I was able to trade some of our broken tools for these. And she's inordinately proud of a box of maybe 2 screwdrivers that are still quite rusty, with like the bits of their end have sheared off, but they're more functional than the crap we've been working with so far. And there's like a wrench and a small box of really rusted screws of various sizes. And she's just really proud of what she's been able to scavenge from the effort. And she says to Maria, "Here, we can use these."
These are magnificent.
Thank you, She hefts the small box under her arm and then sort of follows. She will never walk in front of Maria, always politely behind.
Maria's going to head over to 133.
Yep.
And have a quick look along the aircraft's flanks and wings at the bullet hole damage. And as soon as there's another engineer who's got a bit more experience around to sort of provide a bit of direction, start fixing. Probably while singing some work song.
Fantastic. So yes, you notice that the sort of the damage is towards the rear ends, which is why none of you were Swiss cheesed, quite frankly, and the engine also didn't get blown up. You got quite lucky in that. And as you're sort of running your fingers across the bullet holes, one of the privates, the mechanics, turns up and nods at you. I assume you're Junior Lieutenant Katyushina, comrade?
I am.
Sergeant Chazova said that you would be helping us out this morning after your planes ran into a little bit of trouble.
Yes. Foolish trouble. Stupid trouble. But still, we fix.
Good. I hope you can. Fortunately, at this moment, we do have some replacement parts. These planes are very easy to break apart and put together. They come in. A lot of the body comes in different sections. So, are you? Well, I can show you what to do, but I'm busy. Are you happy to do it? It's not a difficult fix if you feel confident.
Yes, yes. I will do whatever I can.
And she sort of shows you pretty much how to like unscrew certain bit. It's terrifyingly basic, like how easily this is held together. So it takes some effort, but sort of shows you where you'll need to unscrew this and remove this, and there's another body part to put on. But you can see that the body part to put back on, although again it's just like wooden basically. It's not brand new. It clearly has been filled. There's a few holes that have been filled in and sort of sanded off a little bit to sort of and sort of painted over a little bit to look a bit more usable. And she points you in that direction, leaves you to it. And if you're happy to, we can make a repair roll for you. A first.
I would like to do that. I'm excited about this.
Fantastic. So this is our first repair roll. So if a plane has been torn up or broken down, and you help with the mechanics, I need you to roll plus skill. Now you have something, a bonus because of your roll, I believe.
Yes, it says I am good at repairs. Or you repair well, it says.
You repair well. Fantastic. What this means is if things don't work so well, you will choose fewer problems. So things are less likely to be bad afterwards. Your skill is not good enough to be super good, but you're less likely to be bad so far. So if you could please roll 2d6s plus your skill, please.
My skill is 0. So 2d6s are not fantastic. That's a total of 5.
Total of 5. You're trying to be calm. You spend all morning trying to fix this plane, and it's ridiculous. You're annoyed at yourself. You're annoyed at how stupid it is that you can't do something you're certain you can do. You just can't get the angle right. And every time you're trying to ask for a bit of help, the mechanics are just always busy with stuff. And you're trying to get it done, and then you realise by the time it's nearly lunch that you're not going to get it fixed properly. And you try and bodge it a bit. You know what I mean? You try and get a bit of a bodged fix, and it's still a bit damaged. Hey, lollygaggers.
Hey, Raiders.
But you've done enough with it. You sort of realise with an hour to go, and you manage to bodge the holes, and a quick slap of paint over it, and it looks. You're pretty certain that you're not going to get ripped out for it. You're just annoyed at yourself that you haven't. You're still flying with the old body. Okay. Cool. How you doing, lollygaggers? I hope you had a fantastic stream, by the way. And as Weeple, thank you for joining us. We're just having a bit of a day before the next flight, I believe. And Ben has proven he's not a good mechanic as he thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. But I think he's only going to improve. As for you, Palinka, as you're standing there, Chazova herself comes over to you. Says, our favourite navigator. How are you this morning?
Good, comrade. And she proudly draws the least rusty of the rusty spanners from the box and proudly presents it to her commander and says, "This I secured for our squadron when I was away doing the reclaiming, the metal reclaiming."
Well, look at you with these fancy tools, eh? And she sort of takes it in her hand and looks. Says, it's made in our own country. A fine tool indeed. I hope this will help you. Are you ready to help repair the rudder that was damaged?
I am ready to try, comrade.
Hmm.
Salutes.
Of course. She's a bit awkward about that because she's not used to her fellow sergeants who are pilots saluting her. She's not used to getting moaned at, and she sort of, as she walks to your plane, she shouts at a couple of the other privates, just I think, to take away her own awkwardness at your salute, and she sort of gets out sort of a step ladder and takes you up to the rudder, and she sort of explains how it's been jammed in, and that she first had a look at it, and she thought she'd be able to just knock it back in, but it's going to actually need taken out ideally, and a bit of sanding, a bit of sort of bending back in. It's a bit more of a job than it was, and it might take longer than expected. But she's hoping that you feel confident enough to do it because she hasn't got time to do it herself.
Yes. Zoe is determined to be more brave, almost, and she feels confident. She understands the problem. She believes she has the skill. It's a relatively simple fix, all told. Take it out, sand it down, make it straight, put it back in, attach the wires, Bob's your uncle, right? Or,
Wow.
Someone.
Little Miss Confident, time to roll a repair roll then.
It's all about the crankshaft. That's what Ewan tells me.
It's always the crankshaft.
It's the crankshaft, right? Yeah.
That's so many crankshafts in airplanes. At least 12. At least 12.
I know all about this stuff. So I'm rolling two.
As long as 3 of them are operational.
3 crankshafts.
2d6, please.
2d6.
Yep.
And like Maria, Zoya also has the repair thing.
But, yep, which will help as long as you hit 7. That helps you.
I got 8.
Oh, that does help you. So you patch it together, and you're feeling pretty good. Considering you were left to your own devices to do it, as you sort of hold it in your hands before putting it in, you're feeling pretty proud of yourself. You're feeling this is a first proper fix. And however, I need you to choose one of the following things. Okay.
Okay.
Either she'll fly eventually, but not tonight. So either you put it in, but you're still not certain on the the wiring connection, and it might take a little bit more. Or you'll take a harm from lack of sleep because it was exhausting doing all the labour, Or you don't complete the job in the officially approved manner. So maybe you did some shortcuts. There's a little bit dodgy, yeah. Or the plane. I know you. The plane acquires a personality if it doesn't have one already.
Of course, it's the last one.
Of course, it's the last one.
Of course.
So, so your plane.
But I mean, to be fair, not just because I'm me, but because Zoya is also quite superstitious.
Yeah.
And she was terrified the plane flew true despite her injury. And so yeah, she's starting to associate luck and personality and being protected by this aircraft. So yeah, I think that just in terms of that character makes sense as well.
So how would you sum up in a word or two what personality is this plane getting after this fix of yours?
Kind of like maternal and bullish. Well, like a Russian bear, actually, like a female Russian bear.
Okay.
So determined, single-minded, protected.
Okay. So it's been damaged. It's a bit it's maybe a bit janky to sort of steer, but because of what it's gone through, it's giving that feeling of protection that yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. For the sake of this evening and the way things are going, and to get another mission in, if you don't mind, we're going to keep moving among the 4 of you.
Yeah.
Tonight. And the next person I'd like to go to for her morning is Vera. If Vera has anything she wishes to do before lunchtime, she's got a few hours.
She does. She does. Funnily enough, speaking of superstition, Vera is also has a tendency to lead towards superstition. And after hearing Kelly's tale of nailing wood to planes, she's been racking through her mind at breakfast, and she's not quite at the point where she wants to nail wood to planes, because of where we are and the fact that she's been flying with the Cino, and any surplus would probably cause her some troubles. But she'll head back up to the breakfast bar just as she's leaving, and she'll say, comrade, could I perchance borrow, do you have some kind of wooden spoon, a spatula, or something similar?
A spatula? Well,
for stirring borscht. Maybe not borscht.
It's been a few days since then, comrade. If only
it doesn't
was
have
for
to be
storing
clean.
Borscht. You know, comrade, that things are tight and that we are expected to count back every single one of our kitchen spoons at the end of each serving. Now, I'm assuming here you want to scrounge. Then that would be a scrounge if you really want it, Ewan. And there's two ways. There's two ways you can go about it. If you're trying to persuade them, it's going to be a straight roll. Or if you're not so good with the paperwork, so if you want to do it without them knowing, then that's a different way of doing things with luck. How would you like to do it?
Oh, that's a good question. Thanks, Sucks.
It wasn't me this time.
Vera being, again, having woken up and reverting back to the non-plain, quite timid person, I suppose, would... it seems weird, but she'd default to the scrounging without the paperwork, I suppose.
Okay. So as the sort of the serving private sort of tells you that, they get called back through to the back by the sergeant in charge back there. Hey, come back! Look, you haven't finished the washing up. Stop talking. Come on, this needs doing, or we'll be in trouble. Come on, back you come. The last thing we need is lousy Katieva on us again. And so the private sort of nods at you and sort of scurries back, leaving leaving a couple of spoons and things like that. So I'd like you to take a roll, please. I need you to roll 2d6 and add your luck, please.
She'll turn to walk away just as the private goes out of eye shot. That's a 10 on the money plus 0, and then turns back and peers over the counter.
And you there's no one there, and you're able to grab the spoon of your You're able to grab the spoon of your choice. You get the pick of all the spoons. There's a whole range of wooden spoons.
She's not particularly picky. I've said pick far too many times. She'll just grab the closest thing to her and put it inside her uniform.
Fantastic. So she does have the spoon. From what she can tell, no one has spotted her. You also get a point for the mission call for succeed, because it's not necessarily the vibes have gone positive in the camp, but you're feeling, I don't know, extra cheeky this morning. I don't know what you'd feel after nicking a spoon off a comrade.
She will be given Kelly's story about the wood being useful for the cart, and how that's a thing. She will be feeling particularly well. She is now off to the repair place to. She won't want to nail it to the plane, but she'll certainly want to deposit it, perhaps, let's say, underneath the pilot's seat, right? So that's assuming there's space there, she'll be like, I might need this. If I don't need it, it's a signal of good fortune, good luck for a wooden craft going off into battle, as the wooden cart was. And if I'd ever need it,
your navigator's seat,
then it's there. No, I'm not putting it under Asena's seat.
So as you head into the workshop, again, you're a bit later than the others, and you'll hear the clank, and you see Katarzyna scratching her head and looking at the bullet holes on the side, trying to wondering why she hasn't started yet. And
Yeah.
You see Palinka up on some steps being shown the ropes by Chazova, and your plane appears to be no one around. There's sort of people again toing and froing. It's a hive of activity in the morning, of course. They've got to get those planes flying for the evening. I'm going to traditionally this would be tempt fate, but it doesn't feel serious enough to be tempt fate. So I'm gonna let it happen. There's no one's going to be upset about you putting something on your like that on your plane. So yeah, you're able to put it in. People ignore you really. There's sort of a few. If they'd seen you, there might have been a few frowns because you've got no real right to be there as such. But no problem.
Okay.
It is a spoon is stashed upon your plane.
Perfect. And that is pretty much her plans for I guess the first part of the day. You know, I don't know how much longer it takes, but if there's extra time, she'll head out and she'll look into the sky and, you know, daydream wistfully at the planes in flight across the airfield.
That is definitely something she could do, and it's also assumed that if you've got free time, you know, you'll do one thing, but it's assumed that there's parades to be done and lessons that can be had and cleaning boots to be done, and so there's plenty to fill the morning with outside of your main goal, as it were.
Okay, yeah. I mean, perhaps she'll head to lessons then, and if that's the case, she'll swat up on some flight stuff.
That's very important as a pilot, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, Voronin, how about you for the morning? What's your main goal for the morning?
Since I don't think I can get away with murdering Senya or Dina, I mean, I will head off to logistics first to ask the sergeant if there are any of the scraps of cloth around that are totally unfit to be useful for people to wear, that they were just going to throw out, or if they have indeed thrown it out already and I can go scrounge through them.
Ah, fantastic. And as you sort of go and knock on the door, Sergeant Katieva is indeed there, if you want to. Voronin, what are you doing here?
I'm looking for some scraps of cloth for repair purposes, Sergeant.
Come on, you've seen our bloody uniforms. They're all basically scraps of cloth. What are you talking about, woman?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some that are just useful to be actually even worn anymore. Do you have any of those? I don't need a very big piece. I need a piece about like this and this. Half a shirt would do.
Can I ask what it's for, comrades?
For fixing some holes in clothes.
Fix some holes in clothes. Well, okay, so you're scrounging. Are you going about it through channels, it appears?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Roll 2d6, please.
All right, that's 8. Moving up.
And bear in mind, people, the pool points are available during the day as well. So if you want to waste your flight points during the day to hit something, you can do that as well. 8. You're not misanthrope, are you?
Nope.
She sort of hums and haws and pokes around. He says, "Okay, I can find. Yes, I think we have." And she rumbles for a few, and she sort of pulls out a crate underneath, and she says, "These are the uniforms that have come to us that are the men. They think we're a joke, and sometimes we get sent stuff that is of no use at all. And this is where I keep it. Now, Voronin, you can take it, but because of the 8, you need to pick 2 of these things, and it's up to you what you pick. Okay?
Okay.
You can either attract unwanted attention while this is happening. So someone obviously walked past and spotted it or something, and I'll work out who that is in a sec. Or you can take a harm from lack of sleep because, you know, you've not fully recovered and you've gone about your stuff and you really should have been in bed still. Or the stuff you get is poor quality. Well, it's all poor, you know, but you pick super badly. Or you incur a debt. So I need you to pick 2 of those, please.
I'll incur debt.
Okay. And another for me, please.
Unwanted attention.
Okay. As you take it and you pick up a couple of bits of material, Katieva's hand sort of rests on your forearm on the sleeve,
Mhm.
and she says, "Of course, I can't give this to you freely, comrade, as we have use for it elsewhere. You do understand. You can
Of
take
course.
this, but you will owe me a favor. Do you understand that?"
Yes, Sergeant. I'm happy
Good.
with that.
Good. I'm glad you are. I won't forget.
Sometimes you're super busy and you just need an extra hand.
When I need the favor, I will come and ask you, and you will accept. Do you understand that?
I do.
Excellent. As that's happening, you notice that someone was stood in the doorway. You noticed a figure in the doorway, seeing the whole incident happen.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you turn and try and work out who it is, the person has vanished from eyeshot, earshot, eye vision, ear vision. You know, they
Your
eye,
peripherals.
I don't think
They're
eye shots
gone.
even. Yeah,
They're
from your
gone.
peripheral eye shot, they are gone. They paused. They sort of saw the thing, and then they're gone. So someone saw what was going on.
No worries.
Katieva then removes her hand and says, "Help yourselves, but remember, this isn't a free for all." And
I understand,
and she
Sergeant.
heads back to her desk and she's got a big ledger that she's sort of filling things in there.
And was her mug still there at her desk, by the
Oh,
way?
you wish. Roll 2d6, please. You don't have any stats at all, do you, at the minute?
Nope, 8.
I'm okay with you spending coins on this, by the way.
Take it.
That's
No.
just putting it out there.
I was just making sure it was still there.
That's not enough. You don't see anything, but you get a hold, which means you can spend it at some point to ask a question. Ask a question of her at some point if you want, for the rest of the day, about that topic more than anything.
Okay.
So bear that in mind. That was your main action for this morning? Do you want to follow through with the cloth?
I kind of want to follow through if possible.
Of course.
I would like to make a stop at the or see if I could find Captain Olga Barskova.
The regimental polytruck, the captain.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me take it. Now, where do you think you'd need to go to see her? Where's most likely? Where do you want to look around?
Well, I'd look first probably where we were taking lessons or in an office nearby there.
Okay. Now let me roll a dice. Okay. As you walk up through the class, you do indeed hear the very recognisable voice of regimental polytruck Captain Olga Barskova, and you also notice your friend and colleague Vera sat in the front row, eyes wide open, taking notes.
Does it look like the class will be continuing for a while, or is it about to finish, or it's hard to tell?
For the fact of the story, I'm happy to fast forward the half an hour till the break if you're happy for that to happen.
Right. And I can just what I'm looking for is I want to ask the captain if they have an extra manual or book that I can take and keep and work on and learn from.
Okay. Yes. What is it? Voronin, I believe your name is. What is it? Please, I only have 5 minutes before the next lesson. Make it
Yes,
quick.
sir, Captain. I was so inspired by the lessons the other day that I was hoping I could get another manual or something that would have more information in it that I could follow up and commit to memory.
Roll 2d6, please.
7.
So, I do. do. I can give you that. You need to pick two things again. Someone spots you asking, you get harm from lack of sleep. It's poor quality, or you incur a debt. I need two of those.
I'll do harm and poor quality.
Harm, poor quality. Okay, so add one to your harm. It basically means that you can't do anything else today. Really, you'll need to take the nap before flight, which is absolutely fine if that's what you want to do. Barskova thinks, and she reaches into a cupboard, and she says, "I've got this. It's I don't like my best books to leave the class. I've noticed that some less honourable members of the battalion have a bad habit of not returning them in such good condition." And she hands you over very dog-eared, pages hanging apart, a few pages probably missing here and there, some scribbles everywhere. And she sort of smiles at you and says, "I'm sure this will do you some good."
Thank you very much, Captain. I will keep it close to me, and I will protect it.
Good. Make sure you do. Make sure you do. These things aren't for free.
Thank you, Captain. And I leave yawning because watching those people in those lessons for that long really made me sleepy.
Fantastic. So yes,
and I'm done.
Cool. So as Voronin heads back for an afternoon nap, sleeping generally, unless you've got parades or things happening, it's accepted because everyone's running missions at all sorts of times. It's as long as you're up for certain briefings and such like, it's okay. So as she sleeps, do either of you three, after you've met again for your lunchtime meal, is there anything you wish to do in the afternoon before flight at all?
Well, I'd like to see if I can help Maria with her bullet holes.
I'd appreciate that.
Feeling very smug about. Well, so it doesn't really get smug, but she's quite pleased with her result. And is feeling quite confident she can help something else.
So, are you happy to spend the rest of the day, the pair of you, fixing the other plane up as well? That would be the section.
Yes. Yep. This is how we kill Nazis, with glue.
Okay, I'm going to let you both.
Sorry, carry on. When I was a kid, I could do this.
The glue is important. It's what holds it together. I'm going to let you each make a roll then, and if either of you hit it, I'm happy. We'll start with Maria, as it was her job first and foremost. Could you roll 2d6, please?
Certainly can. Oh, that's a bit better. Quite a lot better, actually. That's a 10.
Oh, fantastic. It might be thanks to Palinka's tools, because you were struggling with the screws earlier, and she does have a very nice, less rusty screwdriver.
They're in third hand instead of fourth hand.
Exactly. It might be due to the way she sort of is able to hold the bottom part up to help you sort of fix it. And you do get the part of the body off, and you put the nicer bit on, and you're feeling a lot better. And you've patched it together, and it's no longer damaged. It is. It's looking good. It's ready to go, and it's a job well done, quite frankly.
Zoya has this notion, a gesture that she wants to make that she doesn't know why, but she wants to put her hand in the air, and she wants to put Maria's hand in the air, and then they clap them together and celebrate.
Oh my! I've never heard of such a thing.
Yes, I don't know. It's just an impulse.
Have we got a date on the first ever high five? Does anyone know off the top of their head?
I think.
Well, we now know it was in 1942. I mean,
it's probably like ancient Greek or something. It probably missed it by thousands of years, I'd imagine.
Quite possibly, yeah.
October the 2nd, 1977. Dusty Baker and Glenn Burke.
Well, there you go. Well, you've beaten it now by 35 years. Done.
Yeah.
It's canon. Write it down, everyone. So as the two of them spend the rest of the afternoon fixing, they've nothing else to do, and they're very proud of their craft. We flick back to Vera. If Vera has anything she wants to do before flight.
Vera very much knows that she's got flight, and she's very much looking forward to flight. She will head off for sleep. Before she does, she'll spend I don't know, maybe half hour 20 minutes or so looking over her pre-owned uniform and just having a little think about all the bullet holes and all the marks and scratches and the name. What's the name? Vavliov?
Oh, grief, I've got to find my notes now. Hang on. Sounds good.
Vavilov? Vavilov.
Yes, Vavilov.
Just, you know, paying some respects and committing that to memory, and then she'll spend the rest of her time sleeping in preparation for the night time.
Fantastic. And the evening indeed comes, and refreshed, Voronin gets to remove her harm. She's fully refreshed. Volkova is refreshed. The other two are feeling good. They're feeling very positive about their work, and they gather for the briefing, and they're shocked and surprised because as they're pulled in by Senior Lieutenant Petrova, there's a face that they don't recognise personally, but they're sure they recognise. And Petrova motions to her, and she says, "Section, we are honoured this evening before this mission because we have with us the brave Russian comrade who fought for the formation of this unit itself. We have this evening Major Marina Raskova herself, who is here to lead the briefing because it is your first night mission. It is a true honour for you all, and after this you truly are on your step to becoming honourable and well-trained pilots in the 588th. And Petrova quickly sort of cedes ground, and the Major steps forward. She's quite firm and quite stern, but very professional as well, of course. Training squadron. Sorry, carry on. Sorry. No, carry on.
I was just going to say, completely in awe, can barely look at her huddling in the corner at the back outsides.
Training Squadron, Section 2. My name, as you know, is Major Marina Raskova, and this regiment is, well, I like to see it as my finest work I've ever done. I'm proud of it, and I only want the very best pilots for it. And as we all know, the best pilots are females. And I believe that the 6 of you can be part of this strong regiment. Now, which of you is the acting section leader?
Me, Major.
I see you're a junior lieutenant. What is your name?
Maria Kachushina.
Kachushina. And where are you from?
Smolensk.
Smolensk. I know it well. And I assume it's a great honour for you to lead this training section.
The greatest of my life.
Good. And do you know that I'm sure you've been told the responsibilities that you have as acting section leader?
They have been impressed upon me, yes.
Good. I've been told that 2 of your number took it upon themselves to help with the fixing of your craft to keep them in the air today.
Without the good plane, we can't do the good work.
Very good. You even see Osina is nodding quite firmly at this point. She's of course in awe of her, but also very agreeable with what you're saying. Okay. Well, it is my pleasure to announce to you this your mission for this evening. It's your first night flying exercise, which will culminate in a live bomb attack on targets arranged on either bank of the Sna I can never say it. TSNA Sna Sna River.
No.
Sna River.
Bless you, River.
Thank you. Yes. So a live bomb attack on targets arranged on either bank of the Sna River, which will simulate a bridge. It's very important to a lot of what we do is attacking such encampments and bridges and harrying troops. And I'm sure you understand the importance of destroying bridges when it comes to slowing down the offense and the defense of opposing troops. Now, we should not, as it is training, we should not see any potential enemy fire. However, you will need to get low to target well. This will be your first real low bombing raid. And any potential damage may come from ordnance being dropped and you being caught, of course, in the explosion. So bear that in mind. Now, Junior Lieutenant Kachishina, I need you to assign your crews, and I need you to choose a pilot and a wayfinder. Now, those that have already completed one must step back, for as part of training, everyone must make a successful wayfinder attack run in order to qualify for combat duty.
I think we will keep the same partnerships in the same aircraft, but our wayfinder,
No, don't get to bed.
this time I will do that myself.
Ah, very good responsibility. And as for your pilot?
My bomb commander will go with Volkovia this time.
Vera, how are you feeling?
It's very mixed emotions, I suppose. She's very, to be honest, she's quite jealous of Maria having such an interaction with such a legendary figure. She's also very excited to get in the air, but then somewhat nervous at the responsibility, I suppose. There's a whole plethora of emotions going on.
What's the expression on Asina's face right now?
Asina's in awe, to be honest. Anything that the Major would say, she's on board with. It seems like she's grown to appreciate Volkovia, and she's looking quite, from what you can tell, she's looking quite pleased to be in the plane with the pilot leading the run. You know, reflected on her, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Major nods, says, "Is there any more questions?" In which case, fly well and enjoy your breakfast. And she and she walks out, heads off. Who knows where? It's dark outside by now, of course. Leaving Petrova, who nods at each of you, says, "Your 3 planes are ready. Take to the air, do well. The Major herself will be given the results of this mission."
We will not fail you, Commander. Salute.
That's what I hoped you'd say.
Yeah. Leaping into the cockpit. Absolute enthusiasm for this one.
Vera runs straight to Asina and says, "Can you believe it? We'll be leading the bomber run straight from the mouth of the Major." It's clearly quite excited.
Thank God you stole that spoon. I don't say that. I have no idea.
you and I, comrade. You and I.
Athena's,
Jumps in the plane.
Athena's excited. She's like, I will keep you on the straight and narrow. Katsushina will show me where to go, and I shall ensure that that I can get you to the right place, directly overhead. I believe in you. I believe in you.
She pats her on the shoulder and says, "Gets us to the right place. Us to the right place."
Athena leans her head forwards again, hoping for the same sort of slapping that happened last time.
And she obliges and jumps in the cockpit.
Senya seems to be much recovered from her previous failed attempt or semi-failed attempt. Seems quite in high spirits because Marina is also one of her idols. Turns to Soya and I'm sure glad I'm not having to be the lead bomber on this one. Don't want to disappoint the major.
Zoya shakes her head patiently and says, "Comrade, you would only bring us glory if you led this mission too. We will be fine.
I think Vera's the better flyer.
Also, I fixed the plane. You have nothing to worry about."
Oh, I didn't think I had anything to worry about. You're excellent with the planes.
She needs a name, though.
That's true.
That's true. As an approach, you can quickly put a nickname on if you wish. It's up to you. But it's got to be momentary. Or you can save it till the next mission. I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah, I don't have one in mind at the moment.
As Zoya walks to the plane with Senior, she does observe that she feels like the plane wants us to be safe and wants to protect us and keep us on the straight. And she feels it's a very serious observation. There's no irony. She's not winking or anything. She feels genuinely that this craft is going to hold them up and bring them home.
Do you have an idea for a name?
No. That's your job. You're the pilot.
Well, if you have suggestions, I'm all ears. But maybe one will suggest itself after this mission. I agree, though.
So give it some thought. Volkova, do you have a nickname you want to run with yet?
Yeah, during the approach, Volkova will go through the same, throttle check, flaps check, rudder check, and she'll turn around to Athena and say, "Well, what do you think? She's old enough," and she'll rub her hand down the side of the plane and say, "Baba."
How are you spelling that? B-A-B-A?
B-A-B-A, like Baba Yaga.
Baba?
But just the grandma part.
That's what my son and I call each other. That's
Baba.
Adorable.
Baba.
Yeah.
I'll take it. It's only the training plane, of course. I'm sure we can come up with a triumphant, glorious name when we get our own planes.
Something that strikes fear into the enemy.
Exactly. At least the Nazis don't know that Baba's flying overhead.
Not yet, comrade. Not yet.
Dropping tiny teaspoons of love as she goes.
Exactly. And finally, Katsushina, do you want to name yours anything at all?
I think so. As my pilot, Irina, fires up the aircraft, I will say, "That noise. We will call her Osa, yes? OSA?
OSA?
Mm-hmm.
What's the meaning?
It means wasp.
Ah, nice. I like it.
Nice.
Awesome.
See, I thought it meant elastic band twiddled around a pencil.
Okay. And so with that, 015, Baba and Osa um, taxi and take off one by one, and quickly they form formation with Ossa at the front, of course, as the wayfinder to
Mhm.
start with the idea that Baba, of course, will switch in as they get closer. The flight is very short this time. It's the closest of all the training missions, and it's only 30 minutes away. And part of you is quite excited by this because you know that you can have an amazing sleep when you get back because this is good times. And but the thing you do notice at night, there's two things. Firstly, it's incredibly cold, and it's all even with gloves on, you're feeling it in the fingers, and with sort of your mask and your gloves, you're feeling it on the face, and even the sort of the plane to the touch is cold. If you put your hand on the side, it's very cold. And for the navigators, especially you, Maria, you notice that it's 5 times as difficult at least to see where you're going, and the planes are having to fly a lot lower, which you can do because you're not in live fire, of course. But it's much trickier, and you're really relying on following the river and sort of checking on your maps and trying to find a star, looking for that North Star and knowing where you need to go. And
Do we have a
it's
guide light?
no,
Because a lot of times planes that flew low had a light, and they would know what their altitude was by how big like this is how the downbusters flew their rates. They'd know how high they were by the two lights coming together at a certain focal point, or the diameter of a single circle on the ground underneath.
now the problem with your plane is you can't do things like that because you're so slow that if people know where you are, you're getting shot down. You can't bang off. This This
yeah.
infamous. The whole selling point of your plane was almost the stealth of it. You're so slow that, and you're almost too slow for certain weaponry. You're too slow for
Yeah.
fighter planes to get you because they're past you before they've even targeted you. So your main aim is low and dark, and so no,
Low and slow,
low and
baby.
slow.
Too slow for extra weight with lights.
Exactly, and then you haven't got any parachutes, of course, because they wouldn't even open by the
Plus, we
time you
can't
get.
carry the weight.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
2 more spoons and Ewan's not taking off.
Well, exactly.
Gosh,
Don't. That's not canon. Not canon.
It's lucky the soups are extra watery, to be honest.
Yeah.
So after a few twists and turns and a real need to focus, Maria, I need you to make a wayfind roll, please.
Okie dokie.
I need you to roll plus your skill, which I believe is
0. Yeah.
And remember, you have a Copic there.
So. That's a 9.
Right.
Use the point if you want to.
As it stands, you can do it with a consequence, or you can be totally successful.
Depending on whether I use the Copic. You know what? I'm going to take the consequence and leave the Copic in case we need it for the bomb run on the Germans.
Okay, I need you to choose. Well, the fake Germans. I need you to choose one of 3. Minor mechanical failure. I don't know how we'll run there waiting for you. I'll come up with something that means there'll be fire from the ground, or some potential chance of damage, or you get stressed and you're going to share some harm. Yes, Ewan.
Sorry, have we? Did we pick? What's the term?
Oh, your
on this
vendor.
one?
Oh, yeah, of course, your vendor mayor. Of course, I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. I just wanted to.
No, please, Voronin. Which plane are you looking out for?
What were the choices?
84 or 133. Look after Baba or Osa. Who are you going to keep an eye out for?
84.
84. So you're looking after Baba. You're looking after the bombing run.
Yes.
And Pelinka, who are you looking out for?
I'll look out for the other one for 133.
Cool.
The one.
Looking for Osa. Well, this
Osa.
Osa. So this is the time. So it's up to you. It's up to you, Maria. Unless Pelinka wants to jump in, you're going to need to choose either a mechanical failure, some sort of enemy fight, something that could cause damage, You get stressed and banged around, so you have to split 2 harm between you, or you can tempt fate and push it for a bigger failure or success.
I think minor mechanical is a worthy risk for a worthy price to pay for completing successfully. Yes, we'll take that.
Zoya, are you happy for that to happen? There's not much you can do really to stop a mechanical, but
No.
No.
But she does. I mean, whatever it ends up being, she will signal that she's aware that there's something has happened and that she's got eyes on it, just to reassure them, really.
yeah, for sure. There's some sort of, as you're flying, there's just some sort of strange noise in the plane. It doesn't sound to be running as smoothly as you'd like to. So it could be one of many things that will probably need to be sorted back at base.
Fan belt.
Yeah, it's always the fan belt, isn't it?
Or the camshaft.
Hit the crankshaft with something.
So you can't quite tell. It could be the distributor. It could be the crankshaft. There is a crankshaft that it could be. The magneto drive gear on the crankshaft. That'd be very exciting.
So did you make that one up?
No, it's
That's
there.
made up.
It's in the list of things that could go wrong in the plane.
The magneto drive on the crankshaft.
The magneto
Yeah.
drive gear on crankshaft. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. That sounds like it has to be in this stream. Doesn't
What
it?
else are you going to drive a magneto off? I mean, seriously.
Exactly. Yeah, come
That's
on.
not in my Haynes manual.
Yes. So you're hearing something wrong. So you're getting there, but maybe it's because of you and because of your difficulty in wayfinding. Zabova's maybe having to fly a bit slower than she'd want to. That's sort of causing the plane to sort of get a bit upset, and so it's starting to sort of miss a beat, But you do find the place, and you're pretty certain that that you found the bridge, and you're happy through your hand signals to offer Vera forward to take her place at the front of the run. And all eyes are on you, Vera, as you make your first attack run. Could you roll 2d6 and add your guts?
Indeed.
You have guts.
I have guts. It's a thing. She'll turn back to Asina and sister for the regiment. As I roll my dice.
For the regiment, sister, for Stalin.
No, definitely for the regiment. And roll a 9. Plus 1 is 10.
9 plus
I
1 is
forgot
10.
I almost forgot my guts.
You have your guts for garters if you miss.
Literally no guts, no glory. Good job.
You let loose the bombs, the payload, and as you fly over, you're low. You've had to come very low, and you lift just at the right time to avoid any sort of damage from it. And you and the planes around you notice a perfect hit, and what is classed as the one end of the bridge and what's been set up as the other end of the bridge both erupt into bright flames that ignite in the light, and you see it's sort of before the smoke rises, you see like the trees and the grass and that around brighten up in the light of it all. And as you fly on, Orsina sort of excitedly pats you on the back, and you have that sense of absolute success in you. And as you sort of signal to sort of turn and head the flight back, that is where we're going to end for this evening with success.
Oh,
Fantastic.
yay.
Glorious stuff.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you,
what
everyone.
A
That was
fun
great
mission.
fun.
Good way to end it.
Yes, nice to have success from time to time, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Lots of happy YMCA chorus hand signals on the way back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Everyone's grinning, knowing that this is the one that the major's going to see the feedback from. Lovely, lovely.
No repercussions
Yes.
for this.
We missed the home base by 60 miles because we're too busy celebrating.
Straight past, back to Moscow. That's where you're off to.
Yeah. Way too preoccupied.
Well done, you four, and thank you everyone who watched. Thank you, Imp. thank you everyone else
Wait.
that sort of lurks around. Yes.
Have we made it through training, Luke? Have we completed?
No,
is that it?
you've got one more training mission, which we'll do next week.
Oh,
So next week, the plan is that you'll run one last training mission, and then you'll move on to your first proper deadly mission.
exciting. Exciting.
That means that next week, anyone that hasn't done a job, has everyone done a job out of you 4?
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
So we'll do one more job where anyone can do the job, I guess, and then we'll head on to thing, which is fantastic. So
Nice.
thank you, dear viewers. I need to finish quickly because I've got to be up in the morning to take my daughter to football in London, or be taken. So I must vanish. But thank you. I know it's quite exciting. So women's football. Have a fantastic evening, everyone that's watching. Thank you, you wonderful 4 people, for making Saturday night an absolute joy. Quite frankly.
No, thank you, Luke.
Such a lovely
Thanks,
campaign.
Luke.
It's been
You're
great.
wonderful
Awesome.
people.
It's been absolutely joyous, Luke. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Kelly and Socks and Ben. It's
Yay.
been really good fun. Thanks.
Exactly.
And Ewan, the Edgelord Spoon Fiddler.
Oh, dear.
That is not a title. That is not canon.
Canon.
Sounds
Canon.
pretty canonical to me. The Edgelord Spoon Fiddler. Right. Have a nice day off, everyone. Whatever you're doing. Thank you, Imp, and we'll see you all soon.
See you on
Bye.
Monday.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Good night.
Everyone.
Bye.